I have the distinct pleasure of sitting here today with Robert Bird. Now, for those who know the arts and film scene, that should excite the curiosity of many. He has done documentaries. You may recognize the name in connection with Twin Cities Public Television, having worked here in Minneapolis and St. Paul, as well as in New York. But now Robert's work is a little bit different. He's guiding the career of emerging artists, younger artists that are just getting started, just getting their foot in the door. And he's doing that with the Jerome Foundation. So let's learn a little bit more about that work. Robert, welcome. Welcome to All Things Access.
Thank you. Thank you for that very nice introduction.
No, thank you for being here today. Well, let's get started. Why don't you tell us a little bit about, first of all, what is the Jerome Foundation?
Jerome Foundation is an arts funder based in St. Paul, Minnesota that supports emerging artists in Minnesota and New York City. Why those two places?
That was exactly one of my questions. Thank you for reading the script.
Because Jerome Hill, the founder of the foundation, the grandson of James J. Hill, some people may recognize that name, a very well-known industrialist, railroading magnate who was a contemporary of people like J.P. Morgan. Jerome J. Hill was born and raised here in St. Paul, Minnesota, but by way of Yale University and Cassis, France, where he lived for a while, he made his way eventually to New York City, where he settled as a practicing artist.
So the foundation makes grants to support the creation and the production of these new artistic works, but there are different kinds of grants. I understand.
Well, yes, we support a variety of different disciplines, dance, or I should say choreography, music composition, playwriting, obviously filmmaking and film and video making, literature, writers, and we used to support arts criticism, but not so much anymore.
Okay.
So we support both organizations and individuals. Our support of individuals is not as extensive as our support of organizations, but the organizations that we support must focus on emerging artists. Everything we do focuses on emerging artists, including our programs that support individuals directly. So what do I mean by emerging artists? Emerging artists are artists who have not made that big splash yet in their careers. They haven't maybe gained national recognition or international recognition. We don't support beginners. You have to have a track record. But we support artists who show great potential of becoming more visible within their respective disciplines.
Exactly, and so I understand too that this is the Jerome Foundation, and that maybe it's been around in some form since 1960.
Since the 60s.
If you could just talk to me a little bit about that. When did it get started, and when did the name become the Jerome Foundation?
You know, I looked up that start date. Now, don't quote me on this, but I think it was 1962. And it was not called the Jerome Foundation when it was first started. It was called the Avon Foundation, not related to the Avon products. And then I believe in the 70s was renamed the Jerome Foundation.
And so Jerome Hill, he was quite a philanthropist in his own right, even as an artist, because this is not necessarily the only foundation that he had to give grants to.
Well, you know, the Hill family actually was associated, and the Hill name is still associated with several foundations. Jerome is one, and we focus only on the arts, but the Grotto Foundation locally is another, and the Northwest Area Foundation, all are directly related to the Hill family.
How does one learn more about the Jerome Foundation and how to get connected and apply, actually?
JeromeFDN.org. And so any arts organizations wishing to know more about what we do and whether they qualify for support should go to that website. And individuals now here are the individuals that we support directly. We support media artists, documentary, narrative, experimental and animation filmmakers. And then we will support choreographers, but they have to come to us through a fiscal agent. So they can't apply to us directly. They've got to do it through a sponsoring organization.
From the 1960s up until now, I mean, that's a huge period of time to make an impact, if you will, just on the culture of arts in all of these various disciplines in the Twin Cities. And I know that there have to be several projects that are quite exemplary for the foundation. And so why don't you talk to us just about a few of those that stand out top in your mind?
Well, it's hard to distinguish one from the other and
Right.
assign too much importance to one as opposed to all the other great organizations and projects that we've supported. But I'll say that we feel that the arts, first of all, are underappreciated, and that they need to be supported, because I personally believe that artists are the great prophets of society, the great visionaries who are not beholding really to anyone,
Right.
in the way politicians or clergy or others might be. So they tell truth as they see it, and often they're it's an unfiltered truth. It's a truth based on what they really believe. And so I think that without artists, what would we be in this society?
Talk to us about just controversial works even. The Jerome Foundation is considers and will support
Well,
whatever one means by controversial.
controversy does not bother us. I, for one, am quite excited by controversy, because I think sometimes when you ruffle the feathers of people, you provoke critical thought. And why should artists do things that just make people comfortable? I think sometimes you have to make people uncomfortable in order to shake them up and help them see things differently. So controversy does not bother us. We're not like a government funder that has to be concerned about how a legislative body will react. Thank goodness. I mean, I understand how that works and why those types of funders have to be concerned. I completely sympathize with them, but we are not that kind of funder, and controversy is not a major issue for us.
Well, let's close with this, if it's okay, because the work that the foundation is doing is just so wonderful, and I know that there are plenty of kids out there, and some of them could be watching, that say, I want to be an artist, I want to paint, but my parents don't want me to because they say I won't make any money. And you're an artist, so just what are some of the principles by which you've lived your life that have encouraged you and kept you going along the way?
Well, first off, I think if you really want to be an artist, that money should probably not be your major motivator, because unless you become quite famous, which a certain percentage of people will, but not a huge percentage, you're not going to make tons of money. It should be love of what you do that motivates you. I mean, I think people who have ambitions of being wealthy, there's nothing wrong with that. Then pursue those ambitions. But sometimes wealth doesn't bring happiness. And whatever brings you happiness, if being an artist will make you happy, then that's what you should pursue. And, I know a good number of people who are artists who are not wealthy, but who are very happy because they're doing what they love. And my advice to people is, whatever your dream is, whatever you think will make you happy is what you should pursue in life. Forget about all the people who tell you you should want to make lots of money and that you should want to be famous, or all those other things that we're that's pounded into our heads in this country. Pursue what you think will make you happy. That's my advice.
That's excellent wisdom. Thank you very much, Robert Byrd.
Yeah.
So you heard it here on All Things Access. Pursue in life what makes you happy, not the pursuit of money, but the pursuit of happiness. Thank you for watching.